Thank you so much, On1, for the introduction. All right, there is a question from Jamie. Maybe before we start, so yes, we can provide the link, but maybe not now. We can provide it perhaps after the session itself. All right. But feel free to, in case you have any concern, like for example, you cannot see the video or anything, let us know. So maybe we can think of about it. Okay. So first of all, I would like to say my thanks to everyone for joining this session today. I know that basically these are kind of like the first few days of our new year 2021. And I'm sure some of you have already started very busy with your work. But I'm quite lucky because I'm still having my break. So I will start my new year in the new office next year only. Sorry, next week only, not next year, next week. So, and again, thank you so much for joining. So today we will learn together about liberating structures. And I'm not an expert on this, so basically the intention here is for us to learn together and for me to share what I have experienced in the past, and perhaps if you have any challenges we can discuss together. All right, so without further ado, in the interest of time, let me share my screen. Okay, just give me a moment. Right, so I hope you can see. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So what I would like you to do is that can everyone please go to menti.com. Okay. So this is just a warming up. So please go to menti.com, and or you can scan this QR code. And then once you go to menti.com, please type this code 2100892. You can use your phone or you can use your computer to go to this menti.com and just type this number. All right. Okay, so let me open the Mentimeter. Just give me a moment. Let me just go to Menti also. Okay, so let's see. Okay, we have a few people already provide. So how are you feeling today, basically? So I just want to hear from you. I believe you must be feeling happy because it's a new year, new energy. I believe everyone gets excited on hope with the new year 2021 things are getting better. Um, and I think for Singapore, for us, the vaccines are on the way for the COVID-19. so, so I hope it's a better year for everyone, basically. Okay, all right. So let me just put a few. Just give me a few seconds. Maybe I'll just give 10 seconds more.
Actually, Bali, what is Sami?
I also don't know.
Sami was put by me. Sorry, that actually is wrong spelling. Should be Sunny.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for explaining it to us. I mean, I personally thought my English is so bad. So
no, not at all. It's not. It's not you. It's not. It's me.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So let me move on to the next what do you call next question? Okay. So I just want to hear from you. You can just refresh your screen. What are you doing basically in your daily life? Are you a Scrum Master, or yeah? Just want to know so we can gauge the audience in terms of your experience or your focus area. Then we can have a better discussion. Okay, so we have two Scrum Master. We have Agile Coach, Manager. We have quite a number of people actually as a Scrum Master. Wonderful. All right. So just to let you know that basically, although liberating structures are becoming famous because of agile forums or people from agility are trying to adopt it, but actually it's a very good facilitation technique for everyone. So it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be agile person to basically utilize liberating structures. It's a common technique for facilitating meeting. All right, so that's good. So maybe let me just put 10 out of 10 seconds, see if there's anyone else missing. Okay, so we have 7 people already provide their feedback. Okay, let's move on. There is, oh yeah, there are, I think, a few more people is waiting in the waiting room. Okay, so let me move on to the next slide. Okay, so the next question is that, have you heard about liberating structures before? So I put possibly because I like neutral. Sometimes, sometimes people asking questions, yes and no. So I don't know. So I just put possibly to be fair to everyone. All right, wonderful. Okay, that's good. So majority already heard about it. Wonderful. The next question is that have you used it before? And if you have used it, how long roughly? If you haven't used it, you can just say 0 month. If you have used it extensively, you can choose more than 6 months. Yeah. Somehow I cannot see the results, even though 6 people are already here. Let me just refresh the screen. Okay, let me just refresh the screen. Okay, so we can see the results now. So basically, majority is saying haven't used it. Some already use it for some time. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so basically, okay, so this will be the last. This will be later. So let's start with the slide first. Okay, so let me just go back to the slide. Okay, and then I'm going to present in full screen. Okay, so can everyone see my screen? All right.
Yes.
All right, wonderful. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so earlier basically on one have introduced me, so I will not repeat it again. So in case you wanted to connect with me, here's my LinkedIn. So my profile is linkedin.com/in@Russia. Okay, so my focus is actually, my area of focus is more on the enterprise digital transformation. I'm also, I like to do coaching and mentoring. It's actually my passion. So basically, it's what drives me in terms of agile. So I like to do coaching and mentoring. And product management is also one of my key focus area. And of course, various agile framework like Scrum, extreme programming, LESS, etc., etc. Okay, so okay, so let me move on. Okay, so in terms of summary, okay, agenda of the session, okay. So for the agenda of the session, basically we have a few days. So the first day for today, we will start with the introduction of liberating structures. And then the next agenda will be on 9 January, will be regarding discussing of bridging the knowing and the doing gap. And then it will be facilitated by Arya. I think Arya is also joining our session today. And then the next session on 30th January would be eco cycle planning. And last but not least would be on February. So this would be after Chinese New Year. So on 27 February, after Chinese New Year, we have a deep dive into liberating structures. So the first three sessions, basically, we will kind of like practice it. And then the last one will be more into what about the why part of liberating structure. Okay. So, okay, so what I wanted to do is that I want you guys to introduce yourself. Okay. So how do we do this? Okay, so let's play a game. Let's play a game. So I just want to you guys think about yourself privately. What do you hope to gain from this whole learning festival? There are 4 days, right? For these 4 days, or maybe just from this session, what do you hope to gain? Just think about it privately. Okay. So I will give you 1 minute to think about it. So I will let me just put a timer. Okay. So think about it. I will put a timer on my handphone. Basically, for you to just think about this question privately. I'll give you 1 minute. 20 seconds more. I hope you have the answer already. Now, don't worry, this is not an exam. So, so you can just think of what do you hope to gain basically, because you are going to, just a hint is that you are going to share it with someone else. Okay. All right, time is up. Okay, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do we are going to do random pairing. So basically, what happens is that you will be paired with a stranger, with anyone randomly in this session. Okay. I hope everyone is okay with that. And when we do this, you'll be put into a different breakout room. Okay. So randomly, we will group you into a pair. So only 2 people inside each of the breakout room. So if you are not familiar with breakout room, it's like a mini Zoom session whereby you will be put into that session, into that room, and only 2 of you will be inside. And within 3 minutes, okay, within 3 minutes, please introduce yourself to your pair. Okay. So basically, you introduce your name, what you are doing, your profession, etc., your hobby, your interest, whatever it is, and then you need to share your answer from question number 1, okay, to the other partner. So I beg you, this please don't dominate the whole conversation, yeah, the whole 3 minutes. So give time your partner also to introduce him or herself, okay? All right. So is any questions from anyone before we put you into breakout room? Do you have any questions? If no questions, what I'm going to do is that I will put you in the breakout room now. Okay. So and please turn on your camera if possible, so that it's easier. So treat this like physical.
Fali, I think
Yes.
Jamie has a question. He said yes.
Sorry.
Jamie, do you have a question?
No, I was just answering yes when he asked if we could see his screen.
Okay.
All right. So yes, please turn on your camera. So when you're put into the breakout room, please turn on your camera so your partner can see you and yourself can see each other basically. All right. So yep, I think we can put in the breakout room now. Okay, so I'm going to join room 5.
Um, so by you, the rest of the participants are in the breakout room. So I suggest that you wait for them to come back. Is that all right? By you, can you hear me? Oh, okay. So do you understand my English?
Yes, I understand.
Thank you, thank you. How do you know this event?
I know this event from the Facebook, ya? Facebook or Instagram, I think.
Oh, okay. Welcome.
Okay. So we already started.
Yeah, we start around 7:30.
Oh, 7:30. Okay.
Yeah, I think your time is about 6:30, right?
Okay. 6:30. Okay.
Yeah. Have you used labeling structure before?
Uh, I have not used it before, but I already saw and watched some
Oh,
presentation about the liberating
okay, okay.
structure.
Great, great, great. I think you are in a good place because half of us are also in the beginning of the journey. And that
Okay.
is why we are here as a learning festival. We actually invited experienced practitioners to share their experience and their knowledge with people who have just started. And
Okay.
hopefully, later part of the journey, that you will be one of the facilitator as well.
Okay.
Right? Just make yourself comfortable. At the same time, and we have another session on January 9. That will be in Bahasa.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you realize that there's another session.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so just wanted to explain to Kelly earlier. So we were cut earlier. So I explained. So basically, for the next few days, a few sessions later, like day 2, day 3, and day 4, there will be different Eventbrite links. Okay, so I think on one maybe can put in the chat group later the Eventbrite to register. So and then you just need to follow from the Eventbrite, because there is an organizer Eventbrite. You follow, and then every time they on one or other organizer submit or publish the new event, then you will get the notification. All right, so thanks so much, Kelly. Kelly was my partner in the previous breakout room, and she shared her enthusiasm, and I hope everyone's also enthusiastic. Thank you so much. So let me go back to my slide, and let me share my screen again. Okay, so I hope everyone can see my screen. Oh, Gary is also, I think someone is also joining, one more person joining. Okay, so basically we have done this. All right, so congrats. Basically, what you have done just now is called impromptu networking. Okay, so impromptu networking is one of the technique from liberating structures. So how do you feel just now? I just want to hear from one or two people here. How do you feel after you are doing this? Anyone, please share your experience.
Can I share
Yeah,
experience?
please, Jigar. Hi, Jigar, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Missed you badly.
Gitu, man.
Great. So yeah, I think it was a very good experience to know one person. So I was paired up with Jimmy, and so while we introduced ourselves individually in 1.5 minutes, we had the next 1.5 minutes to know more about us, which gave us a good opportunity to know more personal details and share some more information about the liberating structures, which is generally not possible when we are introducing ourselves to the whole group with this time taking, etc.
Yeah.
So I think that it is both pros and cons, which I felt. I got to know one person quite well given the time, but then I have no idea about knowing. I have no idea about any other person in the group.
Correct. So normally, what happens in the impromptu networking, we do it multiple times, but because of the interest of time, we limit it. So if you do it in the physical space, I mean physical face-to-face, what you can do is that you use a bell, something like a bell. So you put a stopwatch 3 minutes, and then you ring the bell, ting 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 ting, and then you find someone else, and then you introduce yourself to that person, and then start the stopwatch, and then you ting 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 again, and then move to another person. So it's like multiple rounds basically. So it's actually very what do you call, very nice to be done to warm up shy people. So this is actually what I experienced when I did this the first time. Is that I because I was quite shy normally in a webinar when I was a participant. So sometimes I don't want to talk more, or that's why it helps to build confidence, basically. So if you use this impromptu networking in your as one of your techniques in your meeting, then this will warm up those people, and then they will feel start to engage. They will feel happy because they will feel that they are exist. So that's one of the problem basically with conventional method, is that they don't feel they exist basically. All right.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. So anyone else want to share before we move on? Anyone else? One more person, please. Don't be shy. Anyone else?
So how about let me share?
Yes, please, Ivy.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ivy. I was partner with Shubu. I think this is a nice networking because it's quick and easy. Also, due to Zoom's setting, we have just one pair to share. And what's good I find is that also we share the expectation, and our expectation appear to be very similar. So it's kind of making people feel connected.
Yes, it's a very good word of it, connected. So when you said the word connected, I immediately remember the Nokia slogan last time. Make everyone connected. Nokia,
Yeah,
Nokia was very famous.
Yeah, and I think Feli did it very well also. He reminds us to start the video, to click on the video, because we will see each other's face to interact. And then so we might find that when people are coming back from the breakout group, more people have the video on.
Yes.
It's a kind of warm up feeling there. Yeah, that's the sharing from me, Feli.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you so much. Yes, I really like your feedback. So connectedness, you see, it's very important, because in a meeting, when you don't feel connection between each other, what you feel is stranger. So when you feel the person sitting next to you is a stranger, then the next thing is that you won't be engaged to share your or voice out your feedback because you feel shy or you feel, oh, someone is a stranger, I don't know him, I don't know her, so I better don't talk. So it's a human psychology basically. So if you don't know someone, you will reserve, especially if you are introvert. Yeah, if you are introvert, then normally you will reserve. So by doing this technique, those introvert people will feel connected. And then the second part here is that there is this feeling of basically, as what Ivy mentioned earlier, is the feeling of warming up, immediate warming up, because only two people. Okay, if you make it three people, then there is still a bit of distance. So that's why impromptu networking is very useful. All right, wonderful. So let's move on. Okay, so this picture, I'm sure some of you have experienced this before, right? I mean, you have a meeting, some people is like yawning. There was someone even sleeping, or some fall asleep from his chair, or even they can feel bored. So I think some of you experienced this before, and actually, you see, the problem with the conventional presentation is that you don't engage the audience. It's a one-way communication. Okay, so that's the reason why liberating structure is really liberating you from this, so that you don't feel all of this disconnected. As what Ivy mentioned, she feels connection. So to warm up, you feel connected first. After you feel connected with the audience, then you can feel connection to the topic. Okay, so that's the sequence basically normally. So unfortunately, those symptoms are being ignored. Okay, so it's like elephant in the room. Okay, so like this elephant says when he went to the doctor, he said, sometimes even if I stand in the middle of the room, no one acknowledges me. So it's a main problem basically, meaning that every day we go for a meeting, people yawning, people actually get bored, get ignored. It's becoming symptoms, but over time it's being ignored. And when it is being ignored, what happens is that people will feel that their existence is not essential to the meeting. And when they feel that they don't have the meaning of being in the meeting, what's going to happen next is that you send them invite, they will say tentative. Have you encountered that kind of experience? When you send someone invite, maybe in the beginning they were what do you call, passionate, but after some time they will say tentative or even decline. Okay, so these kind of things are being ignored because we never practice a way of making them engage. Okay, so things like boring, and being excluded, being isolated, marginalized, all of these things are typical conventional meeting problems. Okay, so the type of discussions, that basically normally we have is that from left to right, okay, from left to right is that tightly control and then go wild, okay. So there are many type of meetings or discussions, okay. Typical one in the office or in the formal setting is a presentation, like what we are doing now. I'm doing is presentation, but there is a liberating structures inside. So I'm doing presentation here, and then I also let you guys to practice liberating structures like the impromptu networking. So it is tightly controlled, meaning that the presenter is presenting. And then the second part is managed discussion. Managed discussion is like basically similar to presentation, but normally there's no slide. It's more like everyone coming up with their topic, and there's a status update. There is a brainstorm whereby everyone will give their voice, and then there is open discussion. So go wild is actually open discussion. Everyone is coming up with their topic. Okay, the problem with this is that if it's tightly controlled, people will get bored. You don't have the opportunity to speak. Very seldom. Okay, when you are one person presenting, very seldom you have the opportunity to speak. That's why people is actually trying to mix this from tightly controlled into more towards the middle side. So the liberating structures is actually try to balance between tightly controlled meetings and go wild open discussion. If everything is go wild, okay, then at the end of the day, what happens that you don't achieve the intention of the meeting. Everyone had fun. It's like you go for lunch, okay? When you go for lunch, you don't have any agenda, right, to discuss. You just talk anything, right? Because you don't have any intention. You don't have any objective. So, but everyone had fun with the chat. Everyone had fun with the conversation. But with the tightly controlled, you achieve the objective, but people feel it boring. So liberating structure is trying to balance this. You don't get bored, but at the same time, you are making the meeting productive. You are making the discussion to be productive and fun. So that is the motto of liberating structures, productive and fun. So it's not only productive, it's not only fun, it's both. Okay. Now, there are 33 microstructures of liberating structures. So when I say microstructure, impromptu networking is one of the microstructure earlier, which is this first one. It is one of that. So there are 33. Okay. So for us, normally to cover all 33 is not possible because of the number of sessions we have and the limited time. So normally, even if we do this immersive session, later you will see that basically, even people do it on full day for 3 days, they can only cover maximum 20 microstructures, maximum 20. Okay, because there are so many microstructures here. So today, what we are going to focus more is on this session, impromptu networking. We did it earlier, we practiced it earlier, which is ideal to begin meetings and conferences. Okay, so the benefit is that when you have a meeting or conferences, be it formal or non-formal, please use impromptu networking. Even though the team is already knowing each other, even though your team member already know each other, but it's good to still have the impromptu networking. Let's say just a simple thing like, how are you doing today? Hey, how's your break? How's your 2020 event? So you don't have to like keep asking. You don't have to repeat the same question from one meeting to another. You can just ask them, hey, how do you feel about your previous holiday, for example? I mean, how's your break? You know, just have that kind of like informal conversation to warm up the meeting. Okay, you can make it 3 minutes. Okay, as I mentioned, is to help shy people warming up, and this is important to set the context for the discussion. So when I was asking you the question earlier is that what do you want to gain from this session is for you to focus. Okay, psychologically, human being, when you ask them to sit down in your meeting, the first few minutes they will not be able to focus. The first few minutes, whatever how good they are, yeah, they will not be able to focus. That's why when you ask them question, when someone just sit down on the meeting room, you suddenly ask them question, they will ask you to repeat back. Sorry, can you please repeat back your question? Normally people is like that. It's natural. It's natural because they need time to focus. People need time to do context switching from what they have done earlier and then move to this meeting. They have to do context switching and they need time to do that. And impromptu networking is very useful to set the context so that they can you can get their attention to focus on the context. Okay, so that's why please start your meeting, whatever meeting you have, be it formal or non-formal, please do impromptu networking. And then again, invite audience to shape the direction of their work together. So as what Ivy said that I was paired with someone, and then it was quite surprising that actually both of us have a similar understanding, similar expectation. So both of you is actually shaping the direction of how you are going to work together. So if you have a presentation or meeting, then both of you actually discuss together the context, and then from there, next time when the presenter or anyone is asking you about what you are going to do next, you are kind of like prepared to do so. Okay. All right. The next thing is that we are going to practice about 1 to 4 all. Okay. So in this session, we are going to practice 1 to 4 all, whereby the beauty of 1 to 4 all is that basically everyone is included. Okay. No one is left alone. So when you do brainstorming, okay, when you do brainstorming or you want to engage everyone's idea, okay, please use this 1 to 4 all, because everyone will be forced, okay, I call it force, yeah, but with quote, will be forced to give their feedback. I've been using this many times, especially for post-mortem sessions, okay, if you have heard about retrospective or post-mortem. So basically it's to get everyone's feedback on the lessons learned. What can we do to make things better? If you ask this question, what can we do to make things better, to everyone in this forum now, okay, if I don't use 1 to 4 all, I can guarantee you only 1 or 2 people will give the feedback. Everyone else will have this expectation, oh, I don't need to feedback because I think Ivy will talk, or maybe Kelly will talk, you know, because they will see only people who talk will talk. I don't need to talk. But when you do 1 to 4 all, everyone will have to talk. Everyone will have to give contribution. Okay, so everyone is included, no one is left alone. And avoid spoon feeding and over control. So this is important because when you do 1 to 4 all, you are actually encouraging people to come up with the solutions on their own. Okay, this is important. If you let's say, this is similar principle with coaching. Similar principle with coaching. A coach will not give you a solution. They will ask you questions. So 1 to 4 all is like asking you question, and then you discuss it. You discuss the solutions among your team. So us as a facilitator, okay, I really like 1 to 4 all. What I like personally, guilty as charged, is that I don't need to prepare any slide. When I do this 1 to 4 all, I never prepare any slide. I just ask them question and then let them come up with the drawing, whatever they want to do. So I really like this. So when I use 1 to 4 all in any meeting that I require people to give their feedback, then it's very light for me as a facilitator. And safe space to slowly open up is that people will feel be open up in a safe manner, and then you will gain a consensus. So this is important because the consensus is built upon yourself, upon your team. So it's not from someone telling you. Okay, it's not like, for example, I'm the presenter, I'm telling you, this is what you are doing. Okay, so as a manager, as a leader, basically, in any team that you are leading, what happens is that the trends of telling people what to do is already long gone. It's not like that anymore. In the modern organization, you don't tell what people need to do. You coach them. As a manager, you coach them. You are asking them questions. What do you think you can do? So they can realize their potential. If you tell them what to do, what's going to happen in their KPI, they will blame you. Hey, you're the one telling me what to do. If I cannot achieve it, you're the one telling me. So don't blame me. Okay. So this is actually the principle of the liberating structure, is to give the power of the people from the expert back to the audience. Okay. Any questions up to here? All right. Wonderful. So let me go to the next slide.
Yeah, hi.
Yes, please.
So are we going to use this actually today? 1 to 4
Yes,
all?
we are going to use it. Yes.
Okay, sure. Thanks.
No problem. Okay. So some people ask me, liberating structure is really good, but when to use it actually? In which setting is best to use it? Okay. So as I mentioned, there are multiple types of liberating structure. Multiple types of meeting. So there are this axis and horizontal and vertical. Okay. So vertical and horizontal axis. So from let's talk about horizontal axis first. Okay, so for horizontal axis here is that limited number of people controlling the meeting to everyone is controlling the meeting. So from left to right, one person control and then everyone control. Okay, and then vertical from top to bottom is that how many people included to come up and drive the meeting. I mean, come up with the action items. Only one person or everyone coming up with the action items. Okay, so you need to look at in which setting you are going to operate. Whether only one person going to present or everyone will present, and then who is going to shape the action item? Is it one person going to shape or everyone going to shape? So liberating structure is actually in this side, okay? Meaning that everyone is controlling the content and everyone is responsible for the action items. So you as a facilitator is the least important person in the meeting. Is the least important. So you shouldn't talk more. In fact, you should be in the background. You just watch them out. You don't need to talk to anything. Let them flow. Let them coming up with their action items. Let them coming up with the solutions, and then let them follow up the action item themselves. You see how beautiful our life is as a facilitator of liberating structures. Because we don't do much work. Because we give everyone the chance to do the work instead of us. All right. So any questions here before I move on? Okay. The why liberating structures is that there are three reasons. There are multiple benefits, but for me personally, there are three. Give back the control to your audience. Okay, like as I mentioned earlier, let them own the control. Okay, don't control the meeting. Let them control. And then the second benefit is that you will get a more attentive audience. They will be able to focus. Okay, because you do impromptu networking in the beginning, I get your attention. You are forced to do some action. Okay, you are forced to do some action by talking to someone, even though you don't talk to everyone immediately. You talk to your pair, your partner, and then this will give you a chance to warm up and set the context. And then, of course, last but not least is that the outcome is fun. Okay, so you will have everyone basically contribute, and then the outcome of the meeting is very satisfying. Okay, any questions? Seems like someone is asking on mute. Okay, I want to show you one video how the liberating structures was conducted in one of the immersion workshop back in 2018. Okay, this is before COVID-19, yeah. So you can't do this with the COVID-19. I don't think in Europe you can do this now. So let me play the video. Okay, so let me make it bigger. Just give me, let me make it bigger. Yeah. So thank you for watching. So that was their plan on 2018. So liberating structures actually can be also done virtually. Okay. So how we do it in virtually? So it looks very fun actually doing it physically, where you can see people each other, you can interact, you can dance, you know. you can you can actually do some movement, you know. I mean, you can show off your dance movement, whatever it is. Virtual LS also you can do virtually online, especially with this pandemic situation. Is that normally what people use is using Zoom. Okay, why they're using Zoom? Because of primarily because of the breakout rooms capability. Okay, um, at that time, well, Zoom is one of the pioneer with the breakout rooms, but I think there are more and more platforms coming in nowadays besides Zoom that allows breakout rooms. So you can check out yourself. You can Google some other platform, but normally, mainly people are using Zoom. Okay. Okay. Besides Zoom, there are other tools or other platforms that you might want to consider, like for example, Miro and Mural. Okay, so Miro and Mural are both platforms focusing on how you can collaborate into the content together. Okay, so you can use like Google Slides also or other platforms to collaborate of the content. And then Trello is for action items. For example, you have a 3-day courses or 2-day courses. There are action items participant needs to do. They put in the Trello board. Okay, Jamboard is for drawing. As you see from the previous video that you have seen, there is a whiteboard. There is a lot. There is a whiteboard where people are drawing. Normally, when liberating structures, you are using liberating structure, you are actually engaging everyone to draw. Okay, but please don't be shy. I mean, personally, even I was one of the facilitator, but my drawing is very bad. My audience is having a better drawing, but I let them draw. Okay, so even though I draw not nice, but I let everyone drawing. So drawing is normally very useful opportunity for everyone to express their idea. Because sometimes when you meet physically also, sometimes you want to share your idea or explain your idea, you actually draw something on the whiteboard. So you can use Jamboard. And then Mentimeter is one of the platform that I was starting earlier to warm up, to ask you questions, how are you feeling today, etc., etc. Okay, so these are combinations. So if you do this physically, it's much easier. You don't need all these so many tools. You just need a piece of paper. Sometimes you need some maybe a strings of things. It's much easier to read physically, but because of the pandemic situation, you will need to rely on multiple platforms. Okay, but in this session, I'm not going to discuss more about the platforms. I'm just sharing actually how we do it normally. Okay. Now, before we practice 1, 2, 4 all, any questions so far?
Fadli,
Yes, Jigar, please.
are there any more platforms that offer breakout rooms apart from Zoom? If you could help me with a couple, that would be helpful.
Recently, I know Microsoft Teams also support breakout rooms recently, but I don't know how stable it is, frankly speaking, because it's a new feature Microsoft Teams introduced, and in fact, many companies are using Microsoft Teams nowadays because they're especially if they're using a Skype in the beginning. So after Microsoft purchased Skype and they have Microsoft Teams, organizations are swinging from Skype go to Microsoft Teams, because Microsoft Teams have the chat group, have the calls and everything, have a video conference capability, and also have the breakout room. So that's what I know. There are others. My understanding, it's a web-based application. It's not the desktop-based. Like what I did, there was one event that actually there was one event I attended at that time, and at that time they were using a website, kind of web application, where they put like a virtual conference floor. So there's a floor 1, floor 2, floor 3, and then there is a section for each of the section. It's like you are inside that physical space. When you click on that section, then you go to that room only. So I've I mean, I've encountered this, but I really don't know, frankly speaking, what is that platform. So normally it's a web application, basically.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. So anyone else have any questions? Okay, so if no questions, what I'm going to do is that we'll start 1, 2, 4 all. Okay, so my question. So the first step number 1. So in the 1, 2, 4 all, the reason why it's called 1, 2, 4 all is because of the sequence. Okay, so it starts with sequence number 1. So 1 means 1 person. Okay, so why there's a reason why it's called 1, 2, 4 all, because 1 means 1 person. So as 1 person, as individually in yourself, think on how to answer this question. What can you do to help others enjoy this learning festival? Okay, so what can you do? So why I'm saying, why the question is that, what can I, there are other events normally they will ask these questions that what can you do, instead of what can you do, what do you want? So instead of what do you want, I'm asking this reversely, is that what can you do to help others? So I'm teaching you how to be empathy. I'm actually explaining to you so that be empathy with others. So how do we be empathy with others? What can you do to help others enjoy this learning festival from day 1 until day 4? Okay, think about it. Before we start, I will just go through the section first, one by one, before we start the counting. Okay, and then in the second step, in the pair, okay, in the second step in a pair, you will basically discuss your opinion with someone else. So when I say, so it's only two people in one room, same like impromptu networking. So in one room there are 2 people, you exchange your idea, your opinion. Okay, so you need to give your partner some time to share also. So please don't dominate the conversation. You only have 2 minutes. So 1 minute for you to share your opinion, and the other person's also given 1 minute to share his or her opinion to you. So you exchange your opinion. Okay. And then the third step is you will be put into a group of 4 people. Okay, 4 or more. So normally 1 to 4 all, the number of the group is normally is an even number. Okay, it's like 2, 4, 4, 8, something like that. So it's an even number so that you can group into the group of 4. But in case, I think today might be we are odd numbers. So then we have to even it. So there could be more than 4 people in one group. Okay, so in that group, you actually exchange with everyone. Okay, you're given 4 minutes. So you're given 4 minutes. Each one person in the group of 4 is given 1 minute to share. Okay, so please be mindful about others. Be mindful and talk only 1 minute and give the other 3 minutes to the remaining team members in your group. Okay, so 1 minute each. Okay, after that, after the step 3, after you exchange your idea within your group, and then you will be put back into the main room, and then I am sure for each of the group that you discuss, you have one most standout idea, one most standout opinion from your group. So maybe like what Ivy mentioned earlier with her partner is that she found similarities during the conversation. So those similarities, please share with everyone. Okay, so let's say we have 4 groups. So each group will share what is the most common one from their group to the remaining group. And in total will be 5 minutes. So it's not 5 minutes each, it's 5 minutes for the whole group. Okay, so that's why it's only one. Any questions before we start breaking you guys up?
A screenshot of this page so that you can remember what to do in each step.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. You can screenshot so that you can roughly know.
Yeah. And so if during the round 3, when people are like there are 4 people in the group, so they should so they can decide who can list down all the
Yeah.
ideas.
Yes, yes. So again, in the spirit of agile, is that encourage everyone. So anyone, please write it down. There's no one telling you what to do. Be independent. That's the reason why liberating structure is very useful to make you guys to make everyone independent. Okay.
All
All right. Any other question? If no questions, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put a timer. We'll start with the step 1. So we don't need to put a breakout room now. I'm going to put a timer. Okay. So 1 minute. Let me just put a timer from my phone. Maybe just from this. Let me just put a timer 1 minute. Timer 1 minute. Okay. Yeah. So the question is that what can you do to help others enjoy this learning festival? Think about it silently, individually. All right, time is up. Okay, so I hope everyone already have the what do you call the timer. Sorry, not the timer. The answer for that question. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to we are going to break you into a pair. Okay, so how many groups we have?
5.
All right. Okay, I'm going to join room 2 then. See you guys. Hey, welcome back, everyone. Okay, thank you. I hope you have a good conversation earlier. So, who wants to go first? Which group wants to go first? Let's share what is the most stood out idea. Okay, let me share my screen again. The most stood out idea that you have thought. I'm sure there must be similarities. Okay, I'm sure there must be similarities. For that similarities, you can share with us, with the rest of the team, on what are those similarity. Okay, all right. What is the one idea that stood out the most within your team's conversation? So which team wants to go first? Who is in the group one? On one, do you want to mention the name in the group one, please?
Yeah.
I think you're muted.
Group one, we have that's you.
Oh, it's
So
more okay. Maybe not my group first. Maybe someone else group first.
how about Elaine's group?
Yeah, Elaine's group. Yes. Who wants to go from Elaine's group to
Okay,
some?
I'm Elaine here.
Please.
We think about like get more engaged, like turn on the camera in group discussion and ask more questions and be more responsive to the host.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. So anything else from Elaine's group want to add? From the same group from Elaine. Okay, let's move on to the next group then.
How about Aria? Aria.
Yeah.
Yes, hello Wan. Hello Fadli.
Yes, Arya.
I am Jigar only pair. We don't have in group actually.
Sorry, Arya. You are the expert.
So I thought both of us are waiting for another person, but apparently we only become a soulmate, and then we discuss a lot of things, and then yeah, we come up with the similarity that we will asking with help will help with asking the right question, number one. And then the second one, we will both share our knowledge and experience as an agile coach. And then the third one, we will actively participate during the session and the upcoming sessions. That's the three key points from both of us.
Thank you, Arya. So
Okay.
basically, we have similarities, basically active participation and also sharing of experience.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay, the next group. We have how many other group?
Your group. Last
Okay,
group.
so our last group. Okay, so my group we have Kelly, Ivy, and Daya. Okay, so anyone from my group wants to summarize, please? Anyone besides me? Please,
Or maybe you
Ivy.
point finger.
Yeah, I don't need to point finger. Yeah. So anyone?
Okay, I think I'll go.
Yes, please go ahead, Daya.
So the mostly discussed points were like actively participating, engaging with the session, and sharing the honest thoughts uh, and what we learned.
Thank you.
Yeah, and participating, relaxed participation.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that was from you.
Thank you. Yeah, so basically we have heard from everyone. So one thing that keeps popping up into similarities from every group is active participation and sharing. In fact, that is the keyword, exactly the keyword of liberating structures. What liberating structure is trying to achieve by utilizing the microstructure is active participation from everyone. Okay, and then exactly the second point is sharing. Liberating structures give the power to you to talk. This way you can share. If you use traditional or conventional method, you don't have the time or the opportunity to share. Okay, so that's the difference. So I'm really glad, frankly speaking, I'm really glad that the working agreement that you want to achieve by enjoying this learning festival of liberating structures is exactly the objective of liberating structure itself. I'm really glad that we have that common interest, basically. All right, so let me just go back and share my screen. Okay, so basically we have done the 1 to 4 all. So now is the what do you call the question Q&A session. Okay, so we have how much time we still have onward?
I think originally we said that we will end by 9:30, right? Is it that everyone can stay for another 20 minutes? Anyone need to leave earlier?
I think we still have time. Right?
Okay, 20 minutes.
I think I have another meeting after 10 minutes.
Sure.
So I'll need to move after 10 minutes.
Yes. So what you can do, Jigar, if you don't mind, please, you can go to menti.com and then you can post your question there, or anyone. Okay, it doesn't have to be Jigar only. Anyone, please go to menti.com and then post your question. in menti.com. The code is, I mean, you can just refresh your screen earlier and post your question here directly, and then we can read out loud the questions and we answer it one by one. Okay. So I'll give you guys maybe 3 minutes to think of questions, and then as the questions coming in, then we'll start answering it one by one. Okay. I will mute myself first, and let me get some water first. Give me a moment. I'll be back soon. Okay, looks like we have questions coming in. So let's answer the first question. So since Jigar wants to go in few minutes time, so may I know which one is your questions, Jigar?
Yeah, sorry. So I haven't put up any questions. I was good, Fadli. Thank you.
All right, all right. So let's answer the question one by one. So 1 to 4, what to do if odd number of people? Can we do 3 or 5? So basically, we can actually, what we can do if there is an odd number, normally we can even it by basically 4. The number 4 here doesn't have to be exactly 4. Okay, you can have a 5 or something like that, and then but as much as possible you need to have the 2 first, the pair. So the pair must be there. Okay, so if there is no a pair, let's say there's an odd number, there's no pair, so the facilitator will become the partner of that person. Okay, will become the partner of that person, so you can form a pair. But when it comes to the 4, when it comes to the group section, you don't have to exactly be 4. It can be 5 or something like that. Okay, so I hope that this answers the question. Or maybe on one, do you want to add something about it?
I think you have answered it all, unless the one who asked question have more related question.
Yeah. So may I know if this already answered your question to anyone who was asking the question? I don't know who was asking the question, so if no comment, I will move on. Okay, so what are some other ways to learn liberating structures besides joining events or meetups? Frankly speaking, the best way to learn is to practice it. The best way to learn is to practice. So, in fact, if you only join events or meetups, what you do is that the opportunity for you to learn is very limited by time. Like for example, like this, we only have like 1 or 2 hours maximum. But if you practice it, you will learn from your mistakes. And then from there, you basically go back to liberatingstructures.com, read again about the 5 design principles, how you group the people, how you set the context, etc., etc. Then you can make things and correct things better in your next meeting. So that's personally what I feel. I mean, even me, I learn more after practicing it instead of joining events or meetups. Okay, so don't be afraid to make mistakes, basically. So I tell this to everyone normally in the team. If you want to learn something new, you want to practice, please practice. Nobody's going to scold you if you make mistakes. Okay,
So,
so
but maybe I can add some
yes, please,
information.
please.
I think another perspective is, let's say you are afraid to look a bit not what you wish to have, is to find a partner like Fadli. I think we all can learn together.
Yeah,
I think
correct.
that's another way. And of course, if there is immersion workshop
Hmm.
and you are available and able to reach that destination, you can consider that as well. There are some online, but not a lot. So hopefully this year it will be better situation.
Yeah. Thank you, Onwan, for sharing. Thank you. Um, okay, there are many types of meetings with different types of people. Any best practices or tips to identify immediately which microstructure to be used? Very good question. This is very good question. Frankly speaking, liberatingstructures.com doesn't really tell you the tips on which one is the best, but normally what liberatingstructures.com or the website is telling you is that it depends on the situation. It depends on the situation which microstructure you will use, because what happened is that there are there is actually what do you call, you can use multiple microstructure in one session. Like for example, today in today's session I use two microstructure. I open it with liberating structures, and then we do practice on creating working agreement using this one to for all. Okay, so there is no kind of like best practice or tips officially from the website, but based on our experience, is actually it's really depends on the situation. So as a facilitator, what I can suggest you is that I suggest you read about all the microstructures, understand where are the which one is actually the best to use for which scenario, and then practice it. By practicing it, then you will kind of like realize that, oh, this one seems like not very useful to use. Personally, based on my experience, when I do virtual meetups or webinars, when I introduce liberating structures, normally I will start by introducing the most simplest one, or the simplest one, which is the impromptu networking, because this way people doesn't feel odd, and then people just warming up and they feel happy to start the session. Although for example towards the end of the session we don't do any other liberating structure, but at least by introducing impromptu networking, people will have some realization that there is a different way of what do you call, engaging audience in the meeting. Okay, so practice. So you need to practice, then only you can find out which one is the best, because different organization have a different culture. So it's all depend on the culture also. So on one, do you want to add something else also, perhaps, Benji?
Yes. I think when in the beginning, right? I think Fadli has said well that we start with a simpler structure first, and I think I always like to highlight that what is your intention.
Mm.
The meeting must have objective or outcome required, right? So it doesn't mean that the more elaborate structure is the better one or the simpler one is a better one. It's the intention, right? For example, if the meeting there are a lot of introvert, so that means you can introduce one two four sorry impromptu network, and maybe the challenge is a bit difficult. Then you can actually join a few microstructure together. Hopefully, with that, they can help them to open up to be a bit more thinking out of the box, be creative. And in the chat, I share a link of called matching matrix. So it actually explains each microstructure what is the original purpose. So look at your event or the meeting. What is the purpose of each segment? You can choose one or two microstructure for each segment. And then you try out. I think this like I say, trying out is the best because sometimes it may be working in theory, and probably they're influenced by other factors like your familiarity or maybe the culture, like what Farid said. So that's what I have shared, what I share with you.
Thanks, Omar. Thank you. So it's really, I mean, in agile world, we always believe that everything is an experiment. That's why they call it the theory of empiricism. So we only experiment and only will find out. So yeah, it's a complex world anyway. So yeah, especially with the pandemic situation, we don't know what's going to happen next, so we have to experiment. Okay, any other questions from anyone? We still have time for questions actually.
Yeah. So, Fadli, this question is not about this the what we covered today, but about the next session. Yeah, is it like are you the right person to ask, or should I ask separately somewhere?
Arya, is the next session will be facilitated by Arya, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So
Arya
I think
will,
it's here.
yes, and it will be in Bahasa for your information.
Oh, okay, okay. It's not in English.
Yes, the English one will be January 30th.
30th. Okay, fine. So there will be further communication.
Yes, there will be a event, and also you can follow the Labor Structure Singapore for as a host.
Sure, sure. Great. Thank you then. That's all.
Okay, so all right. Any other questions from anyone? So actually, if we don't have any more questions, what I would like you guys to share, I mean, unless anyone still have any questions, we can still have time actually. So if no other questions, then what I'm going to do is that I just need your honest feedback from everyone, please, to perhaps to give us your feedback. How do you find today's session? Okay, from boring or insightful. So you just slide it. I mean, I just need your honest. So you don't need to sugarcoat it. You feel it's boring, you just move it all the way to the left. If you feel you learn something new, you move it to the right side. That's it. Please refresh your screen from menti.com and then move the slide. So let me refresh the screen. Okay, so we have three. All right, wonderful. All right, that's good. So looks like overall it's good. So everyone have. I hope you guys enjoy the session. So this is just the beginning, okay? So this is just the opening. Basically, you can say that this is like just the ribbon only. So we haven't fully discovered the package. We haven't fully opened up the package. It's like when you are unboxing something. This is just the package only. So on the next sessions, you will have multiple sessions to learn and discover more about liberating structures. All right. And
Fadli,
one,
maybe we
yes,
allow them to say the last closing statement or word before we end.
yes, suggestions.
No, no. What I meant is that what do they want to say to close this session?
Yes, 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 yes. Please
Yes,
go ahead. Yeah,
yes.
before you
Can you?
share your suggestion, please, anything, I just want to hear from anyone, basically, how do you feel about the session today? Please feel free to speak up and to turn on your camera. Just want to hear from you. How do you feel about the sessions today? Anyone? Okay, I just read out for Ivy. Ivy said, thank you so much. And it's nice to have tried the microstructures here. That's wonderful. It's good. Anyone else want to say something about the today's session?
And Jika say about it was a pleasure participating.
Yes, yes, yes. All right. Yes, Jiga. Thank you, Jiga. Happy to see you again, man. Okay. So anyone else? If not, then I just want to hear from you. Perhaps if you can suggest anything for our future sessions in the next 3 days, or maybe future session of liberating structures. Is there anything in particular you want to suggest for us to have? So feel free to type it down, okay, in Mentimeter. You can type in menti.com and just type it down. What are the suggestions you have for us to even improve it better? If you have any suggestions, please feel free to just type it out, and then so that everyone can see here. Thank you also, Candice Len, for participating. Glad to have you here. Okay. So anyone, do you have any suggestion, please, for us? So I consider this as my retrospective session. So if there is anything, I would like to have your suggestions so that we can even further improve our sessions and to make it even more engaging. I'm sure some of you maybe have some ideas. If possible, for example, have a more physical session instead of a virtual. meet physically, it's possible. I mean, if condition permits. But the beauty of what happened with this pandemic situation is basically is that it allows people from everywhere, from other countries, to have the chance to come together and actually learn from each other. So it's actually a very good opportunity for us to attend sessions like this, and we can learn from each other. Okay. Anything else from anyone? Any suggestions, please? Okay. So if nothing else, if no suggestions, uh, okay, if no suggestions, basically the link is still open, so you can still um, suggest anything. So yeah, that's actually my last slide. Okay. So thank you very much to everyone for your time. Okay. So I mentioned this au revoir. So basically, it's for us. We can. It's not the end. We will surely meet each other again when there's a time, when there's opportunity. And thank you, On One, for being the nice host, inviting for the Liberating Structure Singapore. And thank you, every participants here, for staying up to this time, especially for those with different time zone. I really appreciate your time and your participation. Thank you so much.
We turn off our mic and say thank you to Fadli. Thank you, Fadli.
Thank you, On One. Okay. So yeah, I think that's all from me basically.